Hey everyone, so I'm here to review this guy for you today. It's the Maybelline Fit Me Anti-Shine Stick. So it's a foundation stick and this has been requested several times. I mean loads and loads and loads over the last few weeks for me to review it. I never had it before, so I actually purposely went out and bought it on the back of those requests. And it looks like this. Now the core is a little bit covered up because of my using it, but it has a little white centre. And then surrounding the centre is the actual foundation itself. So it's very unique with that centre in that the centre is the anti-shine core, and that's supposed to kind of work as your anti-shine or mattifying primer, and that contains silicones and these really lightweight powders that helps keep shine at bay, and then of course your foundation is the rest of it. So it's kind of touted as being a very matte anti-shine foundation, but yet it's moisturising and very silky and smooth and all that. Now the first thing that I noted about this is that I don't think it seems to be half as matte as other people seem to think it is. I have quite a shiny finish with it. Now it could be the fact that I always moisturise my face very well, but I have plenty of other MAC foundations that I moisturise really well under, and I still look very matte and, you know, flat with it on. So I'm not really sure what's happening there, but I did come across a few other reviews of other people saying it was very shiny on them, so maybe it's just a hit and miss thing, I'm not really sure. So I picked this up in Boots yesterday after caving pretty much. Everyone was asking me on YouTube to try it out. I was kind of putting it off because I was unsure about the colour, so I'm interested to see now how it'll go. Swatching it in store kind of looked like it could be okay, but of course the lights in pharmacies are desperate. Like, it's really hard to check or to get a true colour reading on them, from them, but we'll see how it goes anyhow. I went for the number 120. It's for fair skin, and the way the Fit Me range seems to go is that the odd numbers, so the 15, the 25s, like the 115s, 125s, are pink based, and then the even numbers, the 20s, the 30s, are yellow based, or at least more neutral anyhow. So I'm just going to go ahead and pop this on. From reading a couple of blogs about this, I've read that it can dry quite quickly, particularly as you're applying it. So for that reason I moisturised really well first. I'm also going to just apply a little bit at a time and blend it in as I go along for that same reason. So I'm going to use this wee brush, the 130 by MAC. I'm actually just going to pop it on. Now it feels very creamy and very soft and, you know, malleable when it goes on, so it doesn't feel dry by any means when I'm applying it. So it's not very yellow. It's definitely not pink. It just seems to be very neutral. It doesn't seem to be dry by any means on my skin as I'm applying it. It could be because I moisturised so well. It's the same with the Vichy Derma Blend foundation stick. I've had people leave comments to me saying that they found it so dry and so hard to work with, which I found the opposite. I found it lovely and fluid, and, you know, as far as a stick foundation goes, but I would always moisturise extremely well. It's actually quite decent coverage. I'd say it's a good medium covered foundation. I can still see a couple of blemishes and freckles and stuff coming through, but it's really evened out the skin tone quite well. I'm really liking this from very first impression. It's not particularly showing off any pores, even though it has that anti-shine centre. It's what I would say, or what I would call, a natural matte. It's not totally shine free by any means. It has much more of a reflective finish, to be honest, than I would have assumed it would have because of that anti-shine core. I don't feel that it's dry, or, you know, it doesn't feel like it's set really quickly. It still has a very subtle tackiness to it. Yeah, I'd be really interested to see how it finishes, so I'm just going to go ahead, do my concealer and all that kind of crack, and I'll come back 8 hours later. So it's just gone midday here now, it's just gone noon. So around 8 o'clock this evening I'm going to come back and just see how it's held up. I will have to powder, because I would powder everything regardless of any claims it makes or whatever, because just from touching my face and stuff like that, but I will be interested to see how it works. I'm really liking it. I love how my skin looks with it just now on first impressions basis or whatever. So I'll see you in 8 hours time. So it's nearly 8 o'clock in the evening here, and you can see I didn't touch my makeup since applying it earlier on at around noon, and you can see it's lasted pretty well throughout the day. But you can see shine wise it is pretty shiny. not even so much down the centre of my nose where, I mean, it is pretty shiny, but I often would be so shiny here that everything separates and totally moves, and that's not happening. Where I'm getting the most shine is here around the side of my nose. It's definitely is shiny, but I mean, it's 8 hours of wear and I haven't touched it once since applying it, so I really don't find it that bad. It's not half as shiny as other products could look after the same amount of wear with the same lack of touch-up. So I don't think it's very bad at all. I don't know if I would call this a shine-free foundation. Now obviously it containing an anti-shine stick, that's what you would assume it would be, more of a matte foundation. And to be honest, even when I first applied it, it was not matte by any means. It had that natural lift or luminosity to it. So let's start off with the basic facts. We have a limited shade range here in Ireland, the lowest being the 115, and this is the number 120 that I use. The 115 was quite pink, very, very light pink. This one still is not yellow enough really for my, like, I do like it on. I like it enough that I would wear it without any kind of bother. But when I have it on before I powder it, I find that it's a little bit beige, like ever so slightly beige. And I can see when I'm drawing it on my skin that it's a little bit beige as well compared to my my own skin. But it's still enough, close enough of a match. You can probably see there, it's just reading a teeny bit on the pink side, beigey pink side. But once I blend it in, and because I have such quite yellow colouring in my face compared to my neck, it almost balances it out. And then when I go over with my yellow based powder over top, it seems to be okay. So that would be one of my only kind of gripes with the colouring. But sure, when you come to drugstore or pharmacy brand foundations, you really are limited in shade range anyhow. Now I believe they have a 110 in the States, and I don't know, maybe in other countries, but we only have, I think, 6 shades here in Ireland, and I think there's a good like 3 or 4 more anyhow in the whole range. Of course, part of the Maybelline existing Fit Me foundation range, we had the normal liquid foundation in Ireland a lot longer before we got the Fit Me anti-shine stick in. And then this, I got it in Boots. It's around $11.99 or $10.99 here in Ireland. I think it's only $6.99 in the States, and it is $8.99 in the UK, I believe. And you also get quite a decent amount of product for what it is. So it comes in a 9mm stick, and I've read from many reviews that it does kind of go down a lot into that base part when you kind of get to the end, so you can definitely scoop it out. Now I think I would have covered most of it in the first impressions, but just to let you know how I'm getting on the week later, so I have still been using it with this kind of brush, which is the one that I used in the first impressions part, the 130 from MAC, or my stippling brush by Real Technique. So it's that like flat, nice, dense buffing type brush that I like to use it with. Now it does say on the website that you can just use your fingers to apply it, and that's fine. I'm just not the biggest fan usually of using my fingers. It is more moisturising than I assumed it would be. It glides on very, very smoothly. It is a pleasure to blend. You can really feel the silicone particles in it, or you can really tell that there's silicone in it because it just glides really, really easily over the face. I have no bother in blending. I'd say it's definitely a light to medium coverage foundation. I wouldn't say it's full coverage by any means, because I'm still using a little bit of my Catrice Camouflage Concealer just over a few little areas. Even though I have it powdered today, I've powdered using my Mineralized Skin Finish Natural. During the week I was also using this guy here, which I've yet to tell you about, but it's the L'Oreal Nude Magique BB powder. This one is more matte anyhow than the Mineralized Skin Finish, but regardless of which one I use, I still have that natural shine coming through. I find that it's anti-shine in that it doesn't go on matte in my skin. I have a very noticeable glow. I don't think it looks particularly greasy by any means. I think it just looks very, very like a natural, nice, dewy glow. But what I find, and this is what I find unusual about the product, I put it on in the morning and then 6 hours later it's still the same kind of level of glowiness, maybe very marginally just around the nose area, like around here on the cheeks, it's a little bit, but just compared to other products I have, like say, I know a lot of people were asking me it's not on my desk, but about the Tom Ford cream foundation. They wanted to know how it held up against this. The Tom Ford cream foundation does get progressively a little bit dewier as the day goes on, because it is quite a you know, an emollient moisturising cream product. But this one I found didn't get as shiny compared to other products, so I needed absolute minimal touch-ups. I mean, I didn't really bother doing anything. If anything, I might just use a bit of a blotting paper on it. That's all I really needed. I didn't need to heap on any extra powder. Yeah, in regards to this, I would happily recommend it. I think it's a fantastic product, particularly for the nice, you know, happy price range. I mean, it's only around the €10 mark. It's very, very easily accessible because it's available in all pharmacies. The Maybelline is a very accessible brand, and I think it will suit most skin types. Now, I have read some reviews of people saying it was ridiculously dry on them, and then on the flip side, other people saying that it was really, really shiny. So I think this is the kind of one that you just need to try for yourselves. And I think it is a very unique product, and I think it's a very good product. I don't know why I had that brain fart there. I just really, really like it, and I give that a good 4.5 out of 5. Yeah, happily. So I hope this was helpful, guys. Thanks a million for watching, and I'll chat to you all really soon. Slán.